Tri-City Sports Now, and I am beginning to feel a little bit, and I said earlier that the NFL draft could be coming to Tennessee, and that's true. Of course, it'd be coming to Nashville. For years and years and years, the NFL draft, which, was not necessarily thought to be this great event for many years, until really ESPN came about and said, we can really build this thing, and they did. And it's now become a major event, and I've always enjoyed the NFL draft. I used to, do my own, mock draft and all this. And in some ways, I wish that here on Tri-City Sports Now, we could have, that's something we ought to try to do, a mock draft with the audience and such. But let me just look at this here with Tri-City Sports Now and what the draft is going to be. The NFL announced the finalists to host the 2019 or 2020 draft. And they are Cleveland, Canton, Kansas City, Tennessee, Nashville being, it's not Kingsport, okay, come on. Wouldn't it be something if it was? Denver and Las Vegas. This is according to Ian Rappaport. I wouldn't look for Las Vegas to host the draft in 2019 unless the Raiders, they're going to announce this in May, okay, and I don't know. The Raiders are scheduled to have 2 more years in Oakland. This is really, I just do not like how that's, I don't like the Raiders moving to begin with. I don't like the way it is being a lame duck, hold over your head, this sort of thing. And by the way, people talking about the death of football, remember the Oilers tried to do that, and they were going to stay in Houston originally for several years. And they only stayed in for one before moving first to Memphis and then Vanderbilt Stadium, saying this is a total nightmare. I almost thought, all right, yeah, Houston fans had some self-respect. Hey, you're scorning me, get out of here. I don't know where Oakland Raiders fans are. It does, though, present to me something of a disturbing instance in which I wonder how many people at the Oakland Coliseum really are from Oakland. The Raiders are something of a national brand, so how many people come from, Johnson City, Tennessee, or Flag Pond, or wherever, Topeka, and so I'm a Raiders fan, and I've never been big on that. I always thought, support the home team, this sort of thing, because then it's sports as a TV show when you're rooting for the Raiders in Tennessee, and not sports as a culture and local entity when you're rooting for the Raiders in Oakland, or perhaps in the future, the Las Vegas, Anyway, I really, it's even moving to a smaller market. I think, people talk about why the NFL ratings are down and all that. It's real simple. It is politics, folks. You've got, for one angle of this, the fans that are upset with, say, selfish players and kneeling for the anthem and me. You've got the other side that thinks that the NFL is this corporate behemoth concussing their players until they have Alzheimer's, and they don't want anything to do with it. That's all. That element, by the way, has always been around. It's just been shouted down a little bit more until recent times. I also do think, however, franchise relocation LA is indifferent. LA is indifferent, and certainly, having, ratings went up when they didn't have franchises in LA. I've always been a big proponent, flyover country, the Heartland, a place like the Tri-Cities. That's what counts. There are a lot more Tri-Cities than there are New Yorks and LAs. And so you need to cater to them, to the Heartland. Well, you take the Rams out of St. Louis, you take the Chargers out of San Diego, and really you take now maybe someone will say, but you're putting the Raiders in the Heartland. Do you really think that Las Vegas is quote-unquote the Heartland? And Vegas being such a transient town and all this, are people really going to, when they move to Las Vegas for whatever reason, renounce their old loyalties to, I don't know, let's say you move from around the Titans or the Cowboys or the Steelers or whoever to root for the Raiders? I don't see that. But the Raiders do have something of a national brand, so I do wonder the reason why they're drawing well in Oakland for these final years, if it's people saying goodbye or if it's just, the guy that for the event. And I used to be a cab driver in Pittsburgh. I mean, I took people from Mexico City to Steelers games. I wonder if that isn't a circumstance where people from Mexico City are going to Oakland Raiders games, and in 3 years that fan will now go to a Las Vegas Raiders game. And if it is, that's a little bit disturbing, but nevertheless, it does show the NFL team as a tourist trap. And then that's another thing for Oakland, because Oakland probably could use a tourist trap a little bit more than Las Vegas. End of rant. Las Vegas, though, is one of the 5 finalists. My guess is that they would host it in 2020. If you want to know what I would think, they would host it in 2020. Some people are excited about, the Titans could host the draft next year, or for that matter, 2020. It's possible. Nothing's set in stone. You know what I think you ought to be excited about? You know where I want the draft to be? Used to always be in that hotel in New York. Last year it was in Philly. This year it'll be in Dallas. The Pro Football Hall of Fame. Cleveland Browns actually got something right. Nothing against the city of Cleveland. But they want to have the Pro Football Hall of Fame in Canton, just 60 miles south, host the draft. And you know something else? If you're listening in Bristol or certainly Southwest Virginia, take a look at how far it is from your house to Canton to Nashville. For that matter, even if you're living in, Bristol, Johnson City, someplace like Irwin, wherever you're listening in, watching in. It's about the same distance. It really is. So I think 286 miles from Johnson City to Nashville. I think it's about a 4.5 hour drive. That's 5.5, 6, depending on how fast you drive to Canton. It's not that far away. Got to pay the West Virginia Turnpike, but it's just straight up 77. I mean, the lure of the Pro Football Hall of Fame for the NFL draft. History meets the future. Folks, I don't know why I don't hold the NFL draft at the Pro Football Hall of Fame every year. That's brilliant. Canton and Nashville are about the same. If you're saying, well, the local fan and all that, put it in Canton. It's not that, if it's further, it's not that much further from East Tennessee. If you're looking at totally from a local standpoint. I mean, that is so brilliant. We're going to Big and Rich come to the NFL draft? Yeah, that's what we really want to see. Big and Rich at the NFL draft. Wonderful. Okay. We're going to bring Cowboy Troy on as a little, side act as well. Is that what you're going to? Wow. Okay. Fantastic. We're going to do that. Wonderful. All right. Montgomery Gent. No, only half of that can come. What are you going to have in here? No. Brilliant idea. Have the draft at the Pro Football Hall of Fame. Have it there. Like I said, have it there every year. Move it from the hotel to it just makes, it's brilliant. I love it. And so there you go. Can you imagine, though? I'll tell you what, I'm not sure I want it in Las Vegas anytime. And it goes into a couple of other points that I want to make real quick before we go into the next hour. And Caleb Calhoun of Alfred, Tennessee will join us. Obviously, I'll still talk about Daytona 500. And ETSU baseball begins today, by the way. I wanted to talk about the football draft in Las Vegas. Remember when they held the All-Star game, the NBA All-Star game there? And you had every gangbanger run amok in Vegas. And in fact, Oscar Goodman, the mayor of Vegas, who was so into getting pro sports in there, and the NBA was sort of like, yeah, the Jazz used to play here for some games too. I mean, they were already, this was like a trial run to put an NBA team in Las Vegas, and it became almost a gangland war, and the people of Vegas said, to hell with the NBA. We're going to watch UNLV from now on. Don't you ever bring that into our town. So now, of course, they bring in the Raiders. That ought to work real well. NFL draft. Can you see, though? You were just drafted. You've taken out a loan on future earnings. You were just drafted in the first round. You're going to be a millionaire. And now you're in Vegas. No, nothing wrong could happen there. Nothing at all. No. Not only do I not think that the NFL draft should be in Las Vegas, I don't think the Raiders should be, but that's another story entirely. The one thing I will say, and I wish our city leaders would look at Las Vegas in this way, and I've said this so many times, in 1990, Las Vegas and the Tri-Cities were basically the same size media market. They were 90th, just about both of them. I think our market was 92 and theirs was 90th. Now Las Vegas is 40th, and the Tri-Cities is 97th. You know something? Promoting sports more as a cosmopolitan area, building a new arena, taking care of the golf courses, maybe that's an idea on having the area grow and not be stagnant. Worked in Vegas and they had everything. I don't want slot machines at the churches, but I'd like some higher ranking pro teams. Caleb Calhoun, all for Tennessee, coming up next.